Good morning, everybody. As always, start with the indexes. We're going to see SPY is opening slight gap up to the upside, so we'll see how that opens up. But it is as a 2-2 reversal up on a Friday. So we will have a magnitude if we stay above yesterday's highs up into what, 694? What, 693.96. If we're above that, Dow Jones, you're also going to see the 222 back to the upside setting up. Then Q's is still opening as a 1, but closer to reversing. And IDBM, still the strongest one in the market with the small cappers. If we go and hit the gap scan, let's see what we got. And I lost my tab, so I might have to restart that. All right, 1 sec. Alrighty. So gappers this morning, you're going to see OCLO and then ECEG. So you can see uranium. Few other healthcare names in here that might have had earnings or some positive news. So we go to OCLO. It was on our nightly list for the premium guys, and sadly, already gapped through all the targets here. And that's just what will happen when you have signals in force. Notice the 1, 2 week at 81 bucks, trading 120 now, and that's what it does. Up 40% in one trading week. Pretty nuts. But this will take yesterday's highs out, and wow, there's some crazy weather outside. But last month's highs are getting taken out. So OCLO did reverse the month. We still got a lot of month left, so we'll see. They still have more magnitude to 133. So we'll let it open up. We don't have to be the first ones in there today. If we go to NNE, it's going to be the same thing. Uranium, URA, is going to be gapping up as well and still inside month up with some magnitude left. Quadruple U, they're still going up as well. And UEC is going up as well into its monthly magnitude. So a lot of uraniums with the monthly breaks, they're following through. We got some more triggering the month. So we got the rest of the month to be playing that, which means what we wait for is called corrective activity. We want to see some red 30s and 60s today and see if we can't set up some actionable signals back to the upside. They're going to keep going. That being said, some of the chips that got hit yesterday, we'll see some interesting kickers potentially. So AMAT, I'm going to start writing these down. Only got about 9 minutes, so I'm going to do my best to be quick here. Put the AMAT down as a kicker. If we can get above yesterday's highs, LRCX is going to be opening as a 2. Outside of that, we don't have any other chips I see on the gap list here. AMD is still red, NVIDIA is still red, so those guys are still not having a good time. Lennar on the gappers. In the home builders, you'll see this. It's pretty interesting. I know Trump recently just bought like what $200 billion worth of what is it called? Home It was bonds. It had to do with the housing market, but that's why we see a lot of these home builders reacting positively. So we'll see if that continues to be the case. We'll see XHB is similar. So we got some gappers there, which means we're going to have some good volatility today to play with. Ooh, right here. All right, VST. This morning, VST, you can see 1 Wednesday, 2 Thursday. These guys, anyone short in here, underwater. Now, when we're trading kicking patterns, the very important thing about them to increase probability of it playing out is this. When this kicking pattern occurs, we have like a 2-day chart, all these guys who are short and we open here, we want it back through a range of short traders, because when that happens, what we do is this. We PMG, right? So the more pivots, the better, because every time we hit a pivot, we're stopping more guys out and causing more people to go into a losing position. So if we pair that with our kicking pattern, which looks like this, bright red, and then going back through a previous range, what that will do is speed things up. So you can see like Marvell, kicking pattern right here, back through all these guys, speeds things up. IP, right here, kicking pattern to the upside, speed things up, back through all these guys. So that's something we look for, and that makes VST very interesting this morning to us. So we'll make sure that's on the list. And if we compare that to like AMAT, notice AMAT, this kicking pattern is at the top of a large uptrend. So not quite the same as VST. So that's definitely something I'll be watching right at the open. See if we can't come back through all these guys today. And there's pretty big range there, 26%. Now, with the market gapping up, the bearish side of things, AXTI, kicking pattern the other way. So these guys might have some trouble here this morning. We go to AKR real estates. Wow, bid offer is very, very wide in here. So not too certain about that gap, but we'll see. An OLN, look at this. Boom to the upside, and then 3-2 reversal. Notice kicking pattern back through a range of all these guys. So, you know, if you're a smaller account guy, maybe you're watching that instead of VST. But you're not going to have as much range, and I have no idea what that options market's going to look like. So we'll have to see. But VST, I really like the look of that this morning. And let's see. Is IBM a potential 1-bar rev strat month? Yes, it is. For sure, it's trying to do that. So you go to the month. Anytime it's 1, 2 down and green above the month open, that's trying to happen. And then in order to cause that on the month, since our signals cause price action to move, you're going to note it would have to be above yesterday's highs for the 2 down, 2 up reversal, which looks very similar to the Dow Jones, right? And I believe it is in the Dow Jones. So if the Dow breaks and IBM breaks as a simultaneous break, confirming the Dow and IBM together, which increases your evidence. As far as actionable signals, we got about 4 minutes, so I'm going to try and get through them pretty quick here. But we will see inside day, ASTS, Dollar Tree plus Dollar General, eBay confirms month to the upside. Then Momentum Hammer, Octa Momo Hammer plus 3-2 up month. VRNS is going to be very similar to Octa. And then 2 down, 2 up day, we'll have Well and IBM in there from the nightly vid. So if we quickly go take a look, you'll see ASTS, some slight corrective activity, notice. And this is what we're going to look for on like stuff like Oklo today, if it's going to keep going. It's going up, Then it's going down, right? People get stopped out, people get short. Then it goes inside. So we have red, corrective activity, and then green, in this case, inside bar. So if this can break up above this, 94, then we would take anyone short here and we'd bring them back through these guys and try and go higher. So if we go to the month, you'll see, are they buying it this month? Yes. This week, they were buying it. They already hit their magnitude. So we'll have to see. But then the inside day. So we'll see either side of that. You'll see same with Dollar Tree. It's like they're buying, they're buying, they're buying. These guys get short, maybe some profit taking. Then another inside bar we'll have to see. Dollar General, you're going to see very similar. Then Octa. I like this. So momentum hammer, which confirms a 2-up month notice as a pivot machine gun back through these guys. So off the rip this morning, I'd like to be watching VST right away. And then as far as signals are concerned, you can be watching Octa right off the rip. VRNS is going to be very similar looking to Octa with the momentum hammer day. A 2-2 month, except this one, you got this gigantic broadening formation you're working with. Might take a while, but we'd like to see them grind back through this stuff. And that's about it. We'll have to see what else wants to trigger as the day gets going. But we got just about 2 minutes. STX. Let's see. So STX, potential 2-go-3 week, or sets up the 2-2 for next week. And then maybe an outside month back to the downside. They've been grinding it up. Notice a hammer month to cause action, price action to move. And then boom, still good. So it's up 262% from our monthly break. Still good. So maybe you get just slight triangle out and they want to keep going, but we'll see. We're going to have a lot of very fun energy setups for next week. A lot of momentum hammers, a lot of outside weeks. Or you could be watching OIH today if you're one of those energy guys. Oscar, notice, is it a kicker? Technically, but you're going into recent highs. Do you see how you're going up, slightly down, continuing? Right, this is just continuation. All right, watching VST right off the rip. Anytime VST is above its open, we'd be interested for that kicker to start playing out. If it's not above its open, then we're not interested to see it play out. And to open up the market, we're not seeing any options traded yet on VST, similar to LRCX yesterday morning. SPY's not looking too hot to start off the day. You can see they reclaim all of yesterday's highs, potential 3 to the downside. And we would say this is all pivot machine gun, these pivots, if they want to start triggering them. So SPY's not looking the best to start off. But it is still 2-2 day to the upside. So we'd prefer going higher into 694 if that day is green. If it's red, it would be rejecting that. So with the option market closed right now on VST, it's not doing anything. If you're a shares guy, you could get in there with shares right away. That's about it. Uraniums to start the day got some slight triangle out pre-market and then back to the upside. So they're just starting off by going higher to open up the day in the uraniums. For some reason, this feels like deja vu with Lockheed Martin yesterday on the kicker VST. Because until that option market opens, you can see not too much is happening. So, nothing yet. IBM takes the day to the upside, still inside week, but the RevStrat month confirmed by your day. So have to stay above that 303.67 for today. As far as targets are concerned, they've already taken target 1, so you're at exhaustion risk on the daily signal, which looks like this. See your broadening formation down, then back to recent highs here. Well, also triggers its 2-2 day with IBM going to the upside on our 2-2 list. SPY firms up a little bit to start the morning, so they are still 2-2 day up in the SPY. Qs is still weaker. IBM still the strongest. Then Dow is also still 2-2 up with IBM. VST options open, okay. So still to start the day, notice VST is red. So what you'd want to see is a signal, like maybe a hammer one or something, to try and change that. Because we want to take shorts into losing trades with an aggressive buyer, which is key. We need an aggressive buyer. So if it's just red today, it's gap up sell, and they're trying to go outside day to the downside, which would be like this, right? Going all the way down here. What we'd like to see is red and then flip green above that and take all the today's shorts underwater too. For now, those sellers are more aggressive. On the US 500, you have an outside 60, so you're messing with a broadening formation there. Looks like this. So US 500, 2210er, this could make you a new high day with the SPY daily signal to the upside right there. US 500. Notice how it's going right away. What we'd like to see set up is ideally those 30s. Look at 3-1-30 on the futures. It's going to be on the pre-market SPY. It's going to look similar as well. Look at VST. VST is firming up off the morning lows. You can see, right? These guys short down, and then the wick starts coming at them. So can we force those guys into a losing position? You see off the tenor on the futures, up they're going. VST, the inside fiver setting up. VST. Get SPY, look at that. 2-2 day. Good thing to know about, huh? IBM's also target 2 taken out already. Come on, VST. We want to see them just get jammed. The thing is we need to pair these shorts with an aggressive buyer. And it's only aggressive if they're above the daily open, willing to pay more. So we need to get above 174.34 on VST. Look at SPY. Get. You can see why knowing about the broad information is so important. How did we know that the broad information was here on the US 500? Because this is a 3. And a 3 is a broadening formation every freaking time. Boom. Up they go. There's the morning highs. And now we'll see some profit takers hit it. So today we got all the home builders 2s to the upside to start the morning off. All the uraniums to the upside, UEC, URA, Oklo, SMR. And you can see if you look at the uraniums, this is what you're looking for if you're going to try and buy them. So SMR, anyone short pre-market, all these guys, pair them with the inside 5-minute signal reversal if they're going to try and take these guys into a losing trade. You can see on the US 500, there's some profit taking, no reversal so far on a 1-minute basis. VST, still no reversal, goes inside 5-minute shooter, which is not inherently bearish, but if it breaks down below 169.35, that would be a bearish signal. We got second tenors of the day, SPX, some profit takers hit it, going inside 10 minutes. Go and take a look here at what we got. So strongest stuff on the day, AXTI, LITE in the gappers. ASTX. So ASTX from the inside day list, it's right at its break to the upside. SPX, after some slight stop them out, Hammer, RevStrat 1 are back to the upside, so they're still good. Carvana is a 3-2 day to the upside on the gainers list. If you look for some corrective activity there, you might be able to play it on the lower time frames up into 480. It's currently 462. So I imagine those 470, 475 calls are relatively cheap. Is the gapper list posted somewhere? We always show it pre-market. Here's the gappers that we got. These guys. You just take a screenshot in the morning and you got it. So when we're looking at VST here, what we want to think is this, right? We turn off our extended hours. Sell, sideways, sideways. So it's going up, sideways, sideways, but the seller was more aggressive while it went up. So the question becomes, if this goes inside to the upside, see this daily continuity level. Anyone short today would have to cover, which could cause anyone short the past multiple days, right, weeks, to cover. But if that does not happen, there is no covering that has to happen. They can just short it again and sell at higher prices. So still waiting on that. SPY is going inside fiber with Qs. Dow is a 5-minute 2-on-2 reversal, so it's negating. And IWM is closer to going 3 on the 5-minute, which would be negating. So we're seeing a little bit of profit takers hit them to start the morning. And with the SPX, what I'd like to do is draw that broadening formation out right here on the 5-minute. You can see if the indicator draws it, it's expanding that to the upside. If we draw it, it's still considered expanding to the upside. But notice this inside fiver could make them drop back into this range. So that might cause problems. We'll see. VST is getting closer to setting that fiver up. 50 seconds to close out. Lockheed Martin, bright green this morning. So anyone short Lockheed Martin the past couple days, they're having some issues. You see SPX coming back towards the broadening formation here, which is retesting at this point. It's currently inside bar, which is retracement. So it's not reversing, which is why that would be considered a retest at this point. But this inside fiver is a little bit closer to, if it breaks, trying to change that daily. So we're going to be aware of that. VST closes out the double inside 5-minute equilibrium. So you got your consolidation there. SPX, you can see they're still kind of sitting right at the top of the broadening formation. So can we stay above that stuff? Because if not, at the very least, we might test those morning lows again. AMAT on the gapper list. There's your kicker kicking in. LRCX hits target 1 on the rev strat kicker as well. See IBM, there's some profit takers that hit it after target 2. So a little bit of movement there. We still want to see VST right here. Boom, fiver's up VST. Can we change that day? If not, the fiver open 172.21 is our level of defense. If we're below that, that's no good. And you see the bid-ask spread is kind of wide, which is, it's actually a good thing when you're trying to take guys underwater, because if the offer is way above morning highs and we take it, we can take a lot of guys underwater with one share. For now, we're still sitting here. We want to see this fiver take out those morning highs if we're going to cause any losing traders to cover. Lockheed Martin, closer to continuing 15 or just momentum to the highs. Come on, VST, stick it to him. Do it. Do it. Come on, VST. We just need like 100 shares to take the offer. Take out those morning highs. All we need. SPX still holding your level of support, broadening support. Rev Strat Fiver, it's trying to go up there, 6948, which is morning highs. So if that is green above 6940, that's what's trying to happen. VST, it broke the inside bar and then it came back into the range. That's, the first thing that's not good for us. However, they haven't changed color. They haven't taken out the low of this. When we're looking at inside bar breaks, we have to be aware they rev strat, right? So if it ticks up, goes nowhere, and it comes back into the range, it's trying to go outside bar and take all this stuff out. Pivot, 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 pivot. So it doesn't make sense for us to put stops at like low a day. At the worst, your stop, you'd want it here, which would be 171.50. So far, no good. And all this means to us is we might have to retry a different time. Right? Maybe they go like this. Give us the broadening formation in here. That'd be fine. It looks like SPX. So you can see they did not hold that, which means they rebroke the inside bar down now to the daily open, which is going to give you that morning low. So they changed what they were doing on the 5-minute, which is going to cause a 15-minute 2 up, 2 down to start the day. Or, stay inside, but it's closer to becoming 2. So for now in VST, you can see higher highs, higher lows, inside bar. So they're going to try and re-break this, maybe not, but we got a new 5er opening up. So although, right, it broke as a 2 right here, now that this bar has closed out, it reverts back to inside bar. So we call this compound 1. All of these bars here are inside bar to the mother bar of the morning range. So how are we going to get out of that? Right, we're right in the middle. Well, other chips are stronger. QCOM, 3-2 day reversal, 132 about to break. So might be able to cause some losers in there this morning. VST, there's your sideways and up right here. 173.82. So there's your re-break, becomes a 2. Notice, this is all 1. These 3 5ers. And right here is where it becomes 2. So what's it going to do? Change the daily continuity level right here, which causes everyone that shorted this morning to go into a losing trade. And then once we take those morning highs out, we want to stay up there. Because if we stay up there, anyone short in this stuff is in trouble. And anyone short the past, however many weeks or whatever, they become in trouble. So can we stay up there is the question. And what this sets up is momentum hammer 30 in VST in about 8 minutes. So we'll have to see what the next 2 is there in the 30s. SPX is still sitting right at the daily open as the inside 5-minute, closer to the reversal on the 15. Dow already reversed the 15. IWM and Qs are also inside 15. You see VST, they tried again, and once again, right, they break up, and then they reclaim that inside bar break. So, goes up, comes back, didn't work. We need them to break and just go. Because if we're going to have a losing trader on the other side, it will just go. So far, it's still inside 15. So we'll have to see what that 30-minute, the next one can do, but we're still watching that today. You're done with that? That's okay. If you look at the futures, about, give or take 6 minutes, we'll see the inside 3-1-30 forming in the futures. So they did go into the, slight higher highs and then inside 30. So if that were to close out in SPX, that's something we'd want to be aware of for the second 30 of the day, either side of this inside bar getting our attention. VST, slight lower low on the 1 minute and it starts coming back. So they might try and re-break those guys. SPX, notice it's still holding the day open. You'll see the rev strat. 1, 2 down, retest the day open, and then green and inside. So they're still chopping them up a little bit this morning as an inside SPX 15er. An IDBM inside. Dow at 2 down but green, and then Q's inside. So everything's firm still in the market. And let's take a look quick at the sectors to start the day. You can see sector basis, pretty much everything's going up. And if we look in here, right, monthly, weekly, daily, 60, it's all a buy, right? So as far as indexes are concerned, we're a buyer, as well as on a sector basis. Unless we get any signals that change that, but for now, no way. But if we look at VST, this is still 1, 2, 3, 4 bars inside of the morning 5 minute. It's closer to a reversal, which would be pivot machine gun of all these guys. They want to stop them out. Walmart, daily target 1. Yep, beautiful. It's from Twitter last night. We'll go update the tweet for the peeps. For the peeps. Right here. UEC, the inside 15 are uraniums. LMT still to the highs, so there's your 15er continuation. And the only reason I'm picking up on that is because these guys who were short on this kicker yesterday, it gapped up and they sold more. And then today opens, it's bright freaking green. What are they going to do? Get out of the way, right? So they're closer to becoming a 2. The only thing is you'll see defense sector, right? Inside. So anyone short defense overall, they can stay short, although, they're going to take some heat. But if we can take yesterday's highs on Lockheed Martin, these guys, they're jammed. What are they going to do? Once the new 30s open up, you can see SPX will have all these pivots lined up for you. So if you're trading those shorter term options, this is where when you have the pivots all lined up, if we were to trigger like a hammer, 5-minute, it can break and it can go, like 7 to 10 points in a minute or so, or really quick. So this would be ideal if we're going to get a nice move into all this higher time frame evidence that we see to the upside. The only thing we don't really see is tech and healthcare, although they are still firm. We don't really see a lot of downtrends there. And if you want the stronger stuff, it'd be IWM and Dow with the 15ers in there. The SPX, how that flips green in here. So they are trying to rev strat this with about 46 seconds to go. So we'd want to see it close out either as a 3 or as a hammer here, then break on the next bar. Beats for the peeps, yeah. As we get to the second 30s of the day, IBM, you might see triangle to the downside. This is important to understand. When we talk about the strat, most people say, oh, it doesn't work because they don't understand. Notice we've hit target 2 and we've hit target 1, which is right here. When targets are reached, notice these turn into levels of reclaim. Reclaims this level, reclaims this level. Now, if that buyer's still here today, we'll just see them go inside and then just keep going. But if they're not, we're going to see them take the morning lows out. And at the very least, we might take out some of these guys. So realize your targets, even if they're 5 pennies away, they're still targets and they can be reclaimed. Now, if we go to SPX, we said what? Are you going to make a lot of money in about a minute? Pivot, 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 boom. That's what we like to see. But we want it to stay up there. You want to see SPX momentum 15 go right away, ideally. In this case, they didn't. So we're still inside a little bit. Q's is still inside, and IWM did break. So you can see it's a little conflicted. And the trouble with that is this, right when this flips red on IWM, potential 3 to morning lows. So it gets a little tricky in here. Second 30 of the day opening as a 1. What's going to matter to us is the color of that. It's green, right? You can see this inside bar is trying to break and get going. If it's red, they're trying to reject it. So we go to SPX, you can see it goes green and it comes back in red. They're trying to reject that buying with a more aggressive sell. So that's no good. We want to see them back green if we're going to see the thing stay firm today. We can do. We can look at those stats on the 30. I don't think, yeah, we don't have the 30s here. So you can see 20% up, 15% down, 15% up, 10% down. So it's kind of conflicted on the second 30 to start off the futures. And you'll see how the second that's red on SPX changes what's happening. This is why intraday trading can be more difficult, because things change more often versus like a yearly chart. But we are still going to see inside 30 SPX. So what matters to us is if we go and look at a 1 bar rev strat, it looks like this. Goes red, back below, boom, magnitude's the other side of the range. So we go to SPX. If that magnitude is reached, then that would reverse the 30. Right? It would take the morning lows out. If not, the 30 is still trending higher, or at least not going down with a higher low here. So we'd prefer the upside. Like we said, we have more evidence on the upside today. If we look right now, you can see 15%, 12%, 20%, 20%. So it's about 50-50, which just shows kind of indecision or sideways on the futures to start off the second 30s here. See VST, they're still chopping them up, chop, 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 right in the middle. Lockheed Martin, second 30s of the day, they're still buying this one. So anyone short in Lockheed Martin, they're having trouble this morning still. See IWM outside 15, so it's about to take them out on the IWM side of things. SPX is still red, so it's likely SPX is going to try and follow IWM there. Dow is doing the same, with the 2 going 3, and then Q's still inside. You see they're really jumping around in here. Really tricky if you're trading that inside 30. So if you're one of the guys that are in our radar scanner chat from our Black Friday special, this is why we trade 30-60s when we're starting, because you have to be really quick if you're not on those 30-60s intraday. Is notice the 30, 2 up, 1. There's no trade yet. Once we take those morning lows out for the 30-60 guys, that becomes a trade versus trying to mess around with, the oneers in here going back and forth. But SPX, it's likely we're taking that low out with IWM. You can see IWM, the 1 bar rev strat. The second it goes red here, we know this is happening. It has to look like this first. It has to go red and then hit all of our targets. So it goes red here, then it hits all your targets as it should. And that is going to be your 2230 gap up sell IWM. So we may go outside day if that were to, fully kick into gear here. Then if we look at SPX, you will see the outside 15 1 bar rev strat. Anytime it was red below this, 6941 drops 10 points into target 1. Now, if you're a 30-60 guy, this would be the second 30 break in SPX because IWM broke first. Hughes and Dow, so far nothing. VST takes the 15ers down, inside down 15ers. And now you can see SPX, anyone that bought above the daily open, they go into a loss. Now that doesn't guarantee price has to go all the way through this range. However, it increases the odds of that occurring as the 60-minute group is a gap up sell. The daily group, when it's red, right? We'll have to go to SPY here. When it's red, below this, it is a 2 going 3 potential outside bar. Now, during uptrends, what happens is you'll do this, take out the lows, but then it gets reclaimed and we go back to the morning highs. What matters is, true or false. Are we below those morning lows or not? And then how long are we below there? Because right now you got 23 minutes if we're below that. And if not, if we start reclaiming it, it would be trying to change this. But notice you're $1.28 away from changing that 30. So at this point, are you anywhere near changing that? Not quite. We still have how long? We still have 23 minutes, which means this 30, if it's down 150 in 7 minutes, could be down 5 in 30 minutes, right? Here's your gap up 2230 back down SPY off your 15-minute 1 bar rev strat. IWM, boom, right? 2230, down they go, $1 extra. If you're a 15er guy, it's the first entry there, the second entry at low day, which gives you $2, give or take. But notice those 1 bar rev strats, just how powerful they are. It is a beautiful thing. Some people only decide to trade that because of how aggressive it is. and this is coming straight from our boot camp. The 1 bar rev strat most often occurs on gaps, as they do. VST, although it breaks down while the market's going down, didn't go anywhere. So for now, there's, the sellers in there. They're not really doing too much to help VST out to the downside. SPY off your 30, coming into your 30-minute magnitude. Every reversal that price does has a magnitude. So if we go to the 2 up, 2 down reversal, you will notice a 2 up, 2 down has a trigger. It has a magnitude. We always know where it's trying to go. So here it is. Boom. Magnitude. What happens at magnitude? You'll see profit taking occurs at magnitude. So SPX hits our magnitude, instantly jumps, or SPY does, instantly jumps up a couple points. Now, does that mean it has to fully recover? No, right? It's going to be short-term profit taking. We're to go to a 15-second, right? Hits it, some short-term profit taking. Then if they're going to keep going, we just want to take this out. Take these bars out here and keep a puking. But what we would say is, as a 30-minute trader, now we do not know, as magnitude has been reached. IWM about to reach magnitude as well. Down well over $1.40 from the mention of the second 30 of the day, change in direction. Dow and Qs have also taken out their morning lows and their relevant or nearby pivot targets. So when we look at the Dow, you got this nice broadening formation in here. Dow Jones on the 5-er. Qs, not so much, a little bit stuck inside day. While the market's weak, Lockheed Martin's still up more near the morning highs. So no sellers in there today. Zero. Zilch nada. FTAI momentum. True. So on FTAI, what you'd want to see is this. So notice this long red bar. Take this and then find signals to cause these guys to lose. They're going to really go. It's kind of like Walmart, like this. Take these losers in the 3, pair them with the hammer 5-er. And if we're above that, that's how we try and take these guys out. Right? When people take the offer above this, causes these guys to go underwater. Nike is inside month. So, given Nike's an inside month, you would prefer to trade from the top of the range back the other way with the 60-minute. Or just not touch it at all because it's going sideways. Why do I use US 500? Because it's free and it's real time. There's no reason to buy futures data because I do not trade futures on TradingView. Therefore, US 500. It's accurate data. It's real time. Keeps it simple. When we look at the futures, though, this morning, you'll see they triangle they out to the lows. If they do start reclaiming those morning lows, which they are not at this point, they could go all the way back through this range, 23 points. So that's something we'll be aware of. For now, the breakout is true if they're below that. Hammer 30. Yeah, so this is the problem. Notice, look left. You always need to look left. Hammer 30, yes, but exhaustion risk. Notice nearby pivots, take them all out. Then what happens? Profit taking right here. Inside 1-er, boom, they take their profit. So when you don't have any pivots, what happens is they go profit taking, and then, you'll see, can they try and make those morning highs again? So you have to be aware of that, right? SPY, reclaiming the morning low right here, SPY. Looking for morning highs if we're above that. The reason that matters is because of continuity. What are they doing this month on SPY? Buying. What are they doing this week? They're buying. What are they doing today? Well, it's a 2 up, but it's red. So if this were to change to green, they're buying still. What are they doing on the 60-minute? Outside bar, they're broadening, right? They just made the new low. The second this goes green here, now they're trying to go back to the morning highs because the 60, the day, the week, the month, they're all green. 60, the day, the week, the month, they're all green. So guess what? The buyer's taking the offer and they're doing it right here. Anytime that's green, it should go instantly, as that's what price does when the conditions change. And then what that will do is that will set up the outside bar 1 bar rev strat, go 2 bar rev strat, hammer actionable signal. So if we look for a 2 bar rev strat in the dictionary of how price works, you're going to see this, right? That's one version of this. The other version is this, the 132, the 1 bar rev strat, which hammers and turned into a 2 bar rev strat with a new trigger, a new magnitude. So this would be the bullish example. So we look at SPX, would that be the 1-3 hammer 2? If this were to, set up and then break that, yes. So in order to set that up, the day has to be green, the 60 would be green, and then we'd want to see them recover to form that hammer. Even if they closed here, it could still happen. But the closer we can get to those highs up in here, the better it would be to try and get after that. You can see Qs. This would be the what? The 1, 2, 2. The SPY, you'd have the 1, 3, 2, 2 bar rev strat. And IWM still weaker. So what we'd say is if you're short IWM, you're nowhere near coming back. So you could stay short that. Now, if SPY goes green here, the 15, the 30 would have to flip green, which it has not. So we're still in conflict with the 30 seller. But if it's the 60, the day, the week, the month, at that point, you have no evidence of a seller, and it was a 3. So they aggressively sold, and that was it. So these sellers will have to cover into aggressive buyers who are taking the offer. If we can break a 2, we're so far a 1 on the 15-minute. And this would be also okay, right? We could go 3, 1, right? Stuck in the middle. And then we could go 2 to the upside. That'd be a 1, 3, 1, 2. Although we would prefer to just go after it right away, since that'd be more aggressive. VST, you got a little broadening formation. So what happens when you go mother bar is this. It's going to restart the broadening formation. And we know it restarts when the 3 occurs, which is objective. Right there. Boom. 3. There's your triangle right here. So we draw right to left to be objective, like such. Now we want to get above that or get below that if we're going to expand as a consolidation breakout. And you'll see all of this stuff is still a 1. This is a 1 to all of this, and all of this is a 1 to this. Notice SPX on the reclaim. Like we said, if it reclaims, you want to know about that. Do you see how our entries are going to have such tight stops? It's so key. Everyone's like, the strat doesn't work. I lost 1 trade. It's like, take 1,000 trades and then come talk to me, because over time, the entries that break and they just go instantly, right? When we come back above those morning lows, gone. That's what we're looking for. And if we set up that signal, right? If we could break this, it should just instantly break and go. When you have full time frame continuity and pair it with a rev strat, which is what this one down here would be. If we can break that rev strat, what that will do is it should go instantly, because you take losing traders underwater. Now at this point, we still have some conflict. This 30-minute seller is still trying to sell against the daily, the 60, the weekly, the monthly guys. But that 30-minute seller only has 12 minutes left until they close out. So, unless they change the day and therefore having the rest of the day, they could keep selling. Unless they change that, 12 minutes, right? That's all they got. So for now, there's still a 1 on the 15 SPX. Qs, see, it became a 2, but SPX is still 1. Dow 1, 3-1 actually. Then IWM 3-1. So this next inside 15, similar to the last one, right? Either side of that inside bar would get our attention if we're playing it. And if you're a 30-60 guy, we would say IWM 30 down. They're still down. SPX, not so much. They reclaim the morning lows, so we'd prefer to buy it. Then Dow, they reclaim morning lows. Then Qs reclaim morning lows. So at this point, the sellers are kind of giving it up. Breaking news, SCOTUS decides not to release tariff, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter. People are like, what's the news? What's the news? It really doesn't matter. He's like, go to the energies. Oh my goodness, we're taking over Venezuela. We're going to have free, cheap energy and build our whole entire energy, blah, 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 blah. Down it goes, 4%. It's like, doesn't matter. Nothing against you, Evan. I'm just saying, it does not. Everyone's like, oh my goodness, what's the news? What's the news? What am I going to do? It's like, doesn't matter. Because they could come out and say, Russia just bombed, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, the market spikes up 60 points because all of the defense sector and all of our energy sector spikes up for whatever reason. God knows, right? It's like, it really does not matter. What we see still is the market's still pretty firm. I would love to see this market just go on a tear. You've been watching Lockheed Martin today. Might get your first. So this is the thing, right? We're looking at this. It's a grind, right? In order to speed things up, we say price must triangle they out. What does that mean? Well, when you have price that just goes up, what's everyone doing? They're buying. So what happens if price reverses? What's everyone doing? Taking profit. So we can either play this as pivot machine gun and say this should go boom and take everyone out really quick. Or we can wait. We can say once we get a nice red bar, that buyer's going to step in and now we got shorts to trade against. And it should speed things up. For now, I'm just going to let it grind up and away. I have some positions from yesterday still, but we'll see. All the energies pretty weak this morning. Materials. You'll see this, right? Red, it's still going up, but it's red, 15er, 1. So in the materials, might get an inside 15 soon. We will have those 60s setting up shortly. For SPX, anytime it's above 69156, those sellers have trouble. SPX. We want to see it become a 2 on the 15er, but if it's green on the 15, that's what it's trying to do. It only has 7 minutes left. SPX for your 1-bar rev strat. It's going to be low on time, but it's close to breaking. SPX, come on, do it. Right there, boom. And it should just go instantly because we're pairing that aggressive buyer with sellers. So we want to see them, they might dance around, but I wouldn't give this more than 20 cents. It should just go. There is no messing around when you know what's going on. Boom. Get, boy. You just want them to stay up there. And the reason that matters is if they don't, it also gives us information. Everyone's like, oh, I want to buy it at my level and I want to go blah, blah, blah. Yeah, put my stop down here. Put it against the low. It's like, first of all, why don't we do that? Because price goes like this, like it did this morning. Up, down, up, new high, new low, new high, right? So if it rejects the highs, where's it going? Boom, 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 lows, right? So we're just not going to do that. The second thing is, if it were to reject there, we know what's happening. We know every participation group that we understand, right? The monthly group, it's green, they're buying this month. The weekly group, it's green, they're buying this week. The daily group, it's a 2-2 reversal, they're buying today and it's green. The 60 group, it's green, they're buying right now. When did we say that was true? Way down here, we knew that, right? So if that's all true and everyone's a buyer and we trigger a rev strat, it should go instantly because we're pairing a very aggressive seller with a very much more aggressive buyer. A monthly buyer versus a 30-minute seller, right? It's like there's no contest. It's just, it's going to go. So we could have a 10-cent stop. The other thing is, when we're doing this, if that doesn't work, that shows us an unknown seller. So if it were to just tick up 5 pennies and then start tearing back through this range, that shows us that this seller, we have this unknown seller here, meaning the daily seller or the daily buyer, the 60 buyer, the weekly buyer, the monthly buyer, we have that evidence, but there's a seller here and they're rejecting all 4 of those groups. So that seller must be more aggressive than the month, the week, the day, and 60. So everyone with wide stops, they're missing out on evidence for 1. And for 2, they're risking way too much money for what price action will actually give you. Took 15 on QQQ and it flew. Nice. Let's see Qs. Boom. You know what a rev strat is? Yeah. You took it on the reclaim. Beautiful. Beautiful. SPX, what's the news? What's the news? What's the news? Oh, man. Oh, man. What's the news, guys? What's the news? Continuity is the news. It is. The key, that's exactly the thing. What's the news? What's the news? It's like, when did the news happen? That's what matters. It's like, did the news happen right after everyone got short? That's something to know. It's interesting because when I took it, it broke, but when the simultaneous break hit, it flew. Yeah, so this is the thing that's happening. And it's very important to understand this. I'm going to turn on my face cam. Let's see if it works. All right, let me get this light going. I try and keep it a little darker in the morning, but this is what's happening. So think of it like this. 70% of the market is traded by algorithms. So when we're looking at the SPY Qs down IBM, right, we have these continuity levels. And all the continuity levels are showing us is if we're trading above them, so like if the level's here and we go tick, 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 we're trading above it, the algorithms are buying and taking the offer. So it's like, I'm willing to pay 5 cents more. I'm willing to pay 5 cents more. I'm willing to pay 5 cents more. So when we look at SPX, what are they doing right now? They're buying and they're taking the offer. It's like tick, 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 tick. It's like all you're doing is that, right? So you got these algorithms and they're buying and they're taking the offer. So how much evidence do we have then of a trade? That depends across the market. So if you have the SPY, Qs, Dow, IWM, if they're all 4 above their opens, they're all 4 going tick, 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 like ticking higher, right? Like this. So we take that and we know it's like they're all ticking like this. There's algorithms taking the offer. They're responsible for 70% or more of trading volume. So when we go to the 30-minute on SPX, the second this 30 goes green, the algorithms are buying and taking the offer. And price recently dropped 24 points. So you're pairing short sellers with algorithms that are buying and taking the offer. So you have a losing trader on the other side of this. And then we're pairing that like they're buying and taking the offer. And we're not just looking at the 30 or 60. We go to the day. What are they doing today? Right above that, tick, 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 tick. Today they're going up. And you go to the week. What are they doing this week? Anytime they're above this, they were literally 63 cents lower, and that was it. It's like they're going like this, right? All of them. Then you go to the month. It's like this month. What are they doing this month? So if you line up all the algorithms across all the time frames and all the indexes, it's like they're all going like this, and you pair it with a losing trader, that trader has to blow out every time, which is why stuff like silver is kind of terrifying, because we have the banks short billions of dollars of silver. They're short like 500% the net silver production of the whole planet. That's how much they're short. So if silver is like this on the month and the banks are short, our banks are literally just, they're going to implode unless Trump does something crazy, like, you know, take Venezuela and steal all their silver, which, you know, maybe that works out, maybe it doesn't. All we know is anytime silver is above the 60, the day, the week, the month, the year opens this year, they're in really big freaking trouble. And they've been in trouble since down here when the year went green at 2189. They're going like this, right? SPY, get. Do you see how much you can risk on this too? Look at, if this is your entry and this is your stop, the spread plus a penny, you can buy 50 contracts of SPY if you want. It's like your size. It's like enter, add on the inside bar, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, because they're all just going tick, 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 higher, higher, higher. Then once the first one are right here, inside bar, we'll see what the next two is. But isn't that beautiful? And I'm going to turn this back off here. And you can see, we also understand how long things last. 15er, boom, right here it goes red, reduce. That's where you reduce. Now, when you have high evidence, you don't have to reduce. Right? If you're in a winning trade, you're in a winning trade. You can just do what you want. But that's where you would be reducing right there, SPX. And the reason that matters too is because of the 60 flip, second 60 of the day. That changes color, which shows us the 60 group is now going the other way off the inside 1 minute, boom. Right, so you can see they break all the way up, inside bar on the new 60, boom, they take some profit. Now, is this profit taking gonna fully reverse the morning lows? Unlikely, but we do understand this is the broadening range. So if we're from down here or from the reclaim here, which we alerted to our premium group, the reclaim, so I'm gonna let them know this. Just go here like such, we go to our intraday alerts, and we go, SPX morning low reclaim into FTFC. Check mark. Should be up more than a few 100% on 0 DTE or give or take, and actually 15 to 20% on next. You can see at this point, still good. And when we go to the market, we look at how much evidence do we have the market's going up. It's like the daily, the weekly, the monthly. What about the 60? Well, the 60 just opened 2 minutes ago. So everything went 1, but you can see if we just go look here, right? You see 96% of communications. If we go to energies, 86% of energies are 1. That means the other 14% are 2's down, right? We can continue to look through this. 90% of financials are 1, right? And you can see here. So tech is leading to start off the new 60s. Staples is leading to start off the new 60s. So a little bit, right? Some energies are going down still, which we identified earlier in the day, right? Energies, they had the 30s down, but that could change. You get the slight lower low 15ers. So anyone short or anyone that's long in here in the morning, down they go. And then inside bar. So if this breaks higher, these shorts here got to cover. Will the recording of this be available? Yes, it will. It always is. And if you guys are like watching the stream, give me a like here. me know that you like the stream. Normally I don't go live on Fridays, I guess publicly. Normally we're just in our premium section of the Discord, but hopefully you guys are enjoying this one today. Pretty good price action to be watching. And for the two long entries alerted on SPX this morning, this is what they look like as far as risk reward, P&L, whatever you want to call it. Is the boot camp documentation available anywhere? Currently, it is not. If it is something that you guys want, we can put it up on our website store or whatever. I want to give it away for free really bad, but between the course that Rob has given out, that I've posted, it's on my Twitter, and some other stuff, I don't think it makes sense. And me and Sarah spent like dozens and dozens and dozens of hours. As you can see, right? We can literally just search through it like a dictionary and we can find whatever we want. Like if we go to FTFC, here it is. Universal truth. At the point of full time frame continuity, all known participants are confirming each other and are in control. Therefore, we would say the buyer's or seller's aggression is high. In the case of today, full time frame continuity up is when the last price traded is above the month, weekday, and 60 opens. That's a good thing to know about SPY. Get boy. Giddy on up. Saying it's allowed. That's funny. It is quite literally the dictionary, like for the strat. I don't know if there's one thing that, like, I don't think there's anything we've missed. Maybe sideways 30s. Let's see. That'd be like one thing. Yeah, the only thing we don't have in there is sideways 30 or sideways 60, which is really simple. It's just when you see multiple bars, like if you see two 15ers go inside of a previous 15 minute, let's go here. Do I ever share the PDF from that file? Yes. I always share them all over my Twitter and stuff. APLD, so still one that you want to know about. I saw a very interesting post the other day, which I would highly suggest taking a look at. But APLD, highly recommend taking a look at this one because it's been higher at 110. And what they do is they are, and Perplexity would probably explain it better. Give me the bullet. Oops, I didn't mean to paste the chart, but whatever. Purpose-built data centers and cloud services to sell high-density compute, blah, 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 blah. I think these guys is kind of like selling shovels to gold miners, right? Like there's guys who are going to use automation and compute and all that fun stuff to make money. Then there's the guys who are selling the shovels to those guys who want to make money. I think APLD is a selling the shovels type of play. Kind of like the gold miners coming back from the dead here, which is pretty nuts. And for those that don't know or you're new to our channel, this is something we gave out to the free people a long while ago. This is one we want to know about. APLD, the 3-3-2 quarter through a previous range. The next year calls are not pricing it in. Here at 1542, APLD is now trading at $40. That's a pretty good trade. This point, SPY, you can see the 15er buyers right here, and then profit takers right here on the 15. So for now, they're still taking profit. Now, when you're looking at this, if you have an entry here and here, you don't have to do anything. If you're in a winning trade, you never have to do anything, which is why we always look for losing traders. Because losing traders have to do things. Winning traders do not. VST on the 15ers. So notice, this is still the issue here. So here, finally, here's your slight lower low. So see this broadening formation? If we just kind of extend this stuff left. Right here. Still fully this inside of everything to the left. So even if we turn on our algo broadening formation, you'll see 3 stuck in the middle, stuck in the middle, stuck in the middle, slight lower low. So if we're going to see the big move we want to see in VST, this is something we look for. It's called mother bar reclaim. Like this. Same thing as SPY this morning, right? Where it goes sideways, consolidation, and then we take one side, go to the other side. People on Twitter mistakenly call this AMD. They mistakenly call this a lot of different things like liquidity sweep or this or that. In reality, it is called a mother bar reclaim. So you can see we can identify the broadening formation, which is why this would ever work, as levels of reclaim. When price gets stuck inside of a previous range, we can identify these levels and time our signals to reclaim these levels. So this 1, 2, 3 bars, all 3 of these bars inside of outside bar here. So these are the inside bar, 3 weeks in this case. This is the mother bar right here, these white levels. So we try and time this hammer signal back through this range. Anytime this is green here, we know that's trying to happen. So we can draw it either as a broadening range, right to left like this, or we can draw it as levels of reclaim. So when we look at VST, you're going to see the mother bar, morning highs, morning lows, broadening range in the middle. And this is why it works. Because the broadening formation restarts testing both sides of the range and it grows. So it goes highs, lows, highs, lows, highs, lows. It just grows. That's the only reason it works. Oh, sideways 30? Yeah. So you will see, yeah, the sideways 30 here. And it's all the same stuff, right? The thing is, you'll realize if you try and code any of this, you'll realize you're just coding the strat on a bigger time frame. I've done it so many times and I still do it. But it's like, here's your sideways 30. These two 15ers inside of the first 15er of the day. So if we looked at this, we would not see an inside 30 until the close of this one here at 9:15, I believe. Yeah, so you see 9:30 actually. So it'd be right here. So when this bar closes, that's when we would see it, because technically the 30-minute is the first two 15s of the day, then the second two, and then the next two. So the data is only going to be shown to you the way the chart wants to. So you can find sideways 30s, sideways 60s. You can even find sideways like inside days. Like when you see, if you look at, let's see. Look at the energies. So when you see stuff like this, inside 4 hour, a lot of times what you'll notice is that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours stuck inside of one. So right here, 7 hours. This is a full trading day, which creates an inside day from this low to this high. So this is a sideways inside day to this mother bar, and it breaks here. Boom. And then notice the reclaim here. Boom. And this is one of my favorite things. If you're going to trade, you got to know about the mother bar reclaim when you're just going and looking at charts, because you'll see it's like sideways, sideways, sideways. They break out. You just wait. Right here. That's where you hit it. Boom. Up they go. So we go to SPY this morning. You can see they're actually still coming back in. So notice your triangle, like we said. Inside 5 now. Boom. Now they're back to the morning highs. So you can see the second 60 of the day, profit takers, where the 60 is red versus the day, the week, month green. The 60 determines control. So anytime this is red, that is an issue. And they are bringing them back. Which is why we said that's where profit taking, would occur. That 15er buyer was here, right here. Their profit taking still 39 seconds to go. So if you look at the US 500, where's this trying to go? Draw your broad information out down there. 69.16, potentially 68.95. That's an issue. So you take your profits from the morning if you would like to, and you can try and risk it to the downside. And you could go with a wider stop, risking their money, something like this. And it should just go quick through that previous range. They're going to get it. Let's see. 687.57 on SPY if they're going to do it. If we look at it, what are they going to have to do on the 60? Because we always want to set up the next shot, right? We would have to negate the daily color at the very least. We would have to go 3-2-2 30-minute. We have about 14 minutes left. And since this is a 3, this is a broadening range, which means we definitely are trying to go the other way for 30 minutes. So the only thing is, how can we have a tight stop there? At this point, you can see it's down, 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 down on the 1 minute. So this is why we like to time this inside 5 minute if we're going to go after this. Now, the only way we have a tight stop is either playing off a continuation. Let's say we go something like this, which is not ideal. Or we wait for triangle day out, which, if you go continuation short, imagine a lot of other people will try and do that. So we want it to pop up first and then go for it. Like this. So you can see even just this slight move higher and then it goes red here, this would be considered a corrective activity because people stopped out. If you got tight stops, right, you're trailing your stop all the way down, you get stopped out. There's also people who try to buy that potentially. Now that the further up we can go, the better it is. So we have some more range to go after on the downside. So what we'd like to see is the broadening formation, like dink, 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 like that. If we're going to get after it. But we'll see. VST on the inside 30 down for the gapper guys. Lockheed Martin, like we were discussing before, here is your grind into the upside, grinding up. And then you see 5 are red, and then it goes back into the range here. But we're inside 15. We're also inside 30, so we'll have to wait on that. See on SPX, this is why we don't want to short right down at the lows. It's like they're selling. The second they start taking profit, you have to cover and you go, boom, you lose your money. So see if we're looking at the SPY. slight stop them out, and you can see these guys, this is corrective activity if we're going to try and short it. Anytime it's red here, this is when we can try and get after it to make this new low, trading against these guys. But we like to have a signal to time it, which is what makes it trickier. I believe there was some type of information that came out, right, when that rev strat happened at 9 o'clock. I could be incorrect. But what I will do is mark that out as what we call event continuity regardless. We call this event continuity. So if you have news that comes out, everyone's like, what's the news? What's the news? But what matters is price above or below the time that the news came out, because the perception is that if we're above where the news came out, it's good news. If we're below it, it's bad news. So it's like news comes out, bad, and then it's good. And then they start coming back. Now it might become bad again, right? And that's how we can think about it. Now you can see on SPY, right? Green, and then it flips red here. Boom, that's how you would get in there. And then the 3, 2. So we go on like a 2-minute chart. There's not too much to really look at there as far as signals are concerned. So there really wasn't many signals. I bet if we looked at like a 30-second, maybe, 3, which would be a signal here. But it's just tricky stuff in here on the 1 minute. We're not really trading that very often anyways. So you can see if event continuity does not change, we still have full time frame continuity up. So they went down a little bit. There's no signals, so there really wasn't much we could do there. But the event continuity, they're still right here. So the question becomes, do we time signals with tight stops to try and confirm full time frame continuity? Or do we time signals, tight stops, to try and negate full time frame continuity? It's something like this. Obviously, the upside would be preferred because we have more evidence, and it just makes more sense. Now, the question is, inside 5 minute, right? The inside 5 minute here marked high day. Inside 5 minute here might mark the reversal, try and firm things up. Wouldn't we be looking VST to the upside? Yeah, but you need a reversal. You can see we have what we call pivot machine gun. So you got pivot, 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 pivot. But in order for a reversal to occur, there must be a reversal. So we'd need a hammer on the 15. How are we going to reverse this 30? We are nowhere near taking this out. So we're not talking about it. So SPY, slight higher high in the 5 minute. This could be your slight higher high to try and time it down the other way if you're intraday like a oneer guy. If not, it is a reversal back up on a 5 minute basis, but it's not a signal. So when you see kind of like doji, nothing, and then it breaks, these tend not to go instantly because it's not a signal. At least on a 5 minute basis. VST, no, you could. So here on the 5 minute, we understand if the 15 or 30 or 60 are going to reverse, right? The 5 minute has to reverse. Then the 15 will reverse. Then it sets up the 30, right? So we understand that. But as a 30-60 trader, if I'm not trading the 5 minute, this is not interesting to me. When trading futures, should we just, you can use whatever you want. I use both. So you can see when you're timing entries, this may or may not cause a puke here. When you're timing entries, notice the top of the 1 minute broadening formation, which we call triangle layout. They sold, comes back, stops out the sellers, and then they have to sell again. This is how you would time a nice tight stop, maybe something like this, to cause the change in that event continuity with just the 60 group for evidence, is what we would say. Evidence. What am I talking about? Evidence. Evidence. There we go. You see, you have the 15 for now. They're trying. The 30, potential 3-3. So they're trying to do that as well. And then event continuity is pretty much right here, right at the open of this. So you can see what we're trying to do is this. You take your event continuity, or any continuity level for that matter. These guys right here in this range bought. So we take a signal against them to cause these guys to sell into that. Because what if we hit the lows here and they bought, 100,000 shares of SPY? They hit the bid with 100,000 shares and it goes whomp right through the level. That's what causes traders to start freaking out. But, is that guaranteed? No. We'll have to see. Kind of see SPX, the shooter 5-minute actionable signal, which is going to cause price movement if we are below it. So below this, you can see we have pivot, 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 pivot. That tends to speed things up. But is that going to be enough? Is that going to be enough to get them going? And you can see how all those previous targets were reclaimed, levels of reclaim. Inside 5-minute signal marks high of day. Shooter 5-minute is trying to continue this as momentum, which hit or miss. We'll see. First off, you'll see they tried, tested event continuity, and they're rejecting. So this is momentum the other way, trying to go outside bar. But we have a question here in the chat. Why is the 2 up, 2 down, 2 up, 5 are not valid? We didn't say it wasn't valid. We said it's not an actionable signal, and actionable signals are responsible for price movement. Price can reverse without a signal. However, actionable signals are going to be more aggressive because they are momentum, where you take losing traders and you really jam them. Versus if you sell all the way down here and then price goes green, you can get out all the way back up. So once it takes this level out, all these shorts here, they're already getting out. Versus this, right? Shooter. These shorts are short until lows and then it goes green. Now those shorts have to cover right here. And then it goes against. But I'll explain that further in a second. But if we look at this, you say, do you have any idea why the US 500 SPX chart is different from MES? It's because it might have to do with if you have your extended hours on or not. They're also different instruments. US 500 is a CFD, which is a derivative of the SPX, I believe. The SPX is something that tracks a basket of specific stocks. At least I believe. I could be incorrect on that. Let's see. SPX. Prospectus. If you ever don't know what you're trading, type in prospectus afterwards. Let's see. And since these are things, by companies, SPX 500. So you can see this is an index CFD. So SPX is also a CFD. But if we go here, index CFD, SPCFD, SPX, index CFD. We'll see if they even have one for this, but we'll see. Yeah, so you can see SP 500 index, often referenced by the ticker feature ES or the option ticker, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so it's only telling me how to get it. But since it's a CFD of the SPX, all this is a calculation. And then everything is cash settled, and it's either traded as a option, or it is only traded as an option because you cannot buy shares. So this is literally just a calculation of what the SPX would be worth, and then people will use this to trade options. So you can see at this point, like we said, momentum the other way, and that 5-minute signal did not work. The reason that happens is because momentum inside bar continuation. This is a continuation of aggressive selling. The second this goes green, that aggressive seller is jammed. So right here, that aggressive seller is now forced to cover. So you can see it's instantly right off the morning lows. 2, boom, instantly goes. So it's momentum. And then inside bar, momentum again to the upside. Or maybe it's just continuation. Yeah, continuation. So at this point, SPX, 2 up in red, 2 down in green. So we call this the 2 up, 2 down, 2 up if it were to break this right here, 6946. If we go to the SPY, which is the actual ticker, you can see this would be the break, 6946, and we'd use tight stops. Maybe it stops you out once or twice. That's okay. Now, when we look at this, though, we have to be aware inside 30. So we only have 15 minutes for that trade to work out if you're going to play it. Which also means you have slightly less evidence, just 15 minutes only versus having like a full 30 or 60 minutes, which is why we prefer those 30-60s, but we'll see if that stays or not. You see on SPY, this is the broadening information right now. And this is why we use tight stops on signals. Because notice, if you were to buy and put your stop down here, you're buying the top of the broadening formation and putting your stop at the bottom of the broadening formation. That's the dumbest thing you could ever do. Doesn't make any sense. Versus if you're going to buy the top or bottom with the tight stop, you're actually going to be playing the trade. And obviously it's dependent on time frame. If we go on a 15-minute, that's why we'd prefer not to put our stop down here. Because you're just buying the top, putting your stop at the bottom. It doesn't make sense. It'd be better to just get in and get out. So it re-breaks SPY. VST closer to the 15er break with SPY. Lockheed Martin, the 15ers and the 30s. Right here, inside 15 Lockheed Martin, inside 30 break Lockheed Martin. And notice, what will this negate creator do? This inside 30 is going to confirm the green day. It's going to confirm the green week, the green month, green year, green everything. What would it do? Potentially, it's going to cause a 2 up on the day, which takes anyone short yesterday into a loss. Now, again, when we don't have a signal, if we take yesterday's highs out, potentially, all this buying here is just this short covering. So we might take yesterday's highs and then it starts turning over. But we'll have to see. Still inside day, so it's not preferred. We prefer SPY because, notice SPY, we have a magnitude to high a day, yes, but we also have magnitude to daily magnitude, $1.86. Again, how wide is our stop here, guys? 10 cents. Does not matter if we lose. That's okay. But if we look up and left, we know we have that further target to go after. So if we compare our SPY here, 2 down, 2 up day with a magnitude still versus Lockheed Martin inside day, right? Slightly different. Doesn't mean it can't work, but slightly different. So VST still mother bar problems. So we definitely want to play smaller if you're trying to do that. The 30 is still a 1. The 60 is presently a 1. So maybe the third 60 of the day we'll be able to get after that, which is what I will personally wait for. Now, the tricky part with SPY here, you can see you got about 10 minutes left. You're still inside 30. And this is another reason we prefer using tight stops, especially when you're, mother bar this 30 inside of this. What we can say is, since this 30 is green, what are the algorithms doing, right? Buying, they're taking the offer. However, they're not aggressive enough to be taking this out yet. 693.45. So if the 30 is green, we can be in there because anyone short in the last 30 is going to have some trouble. But the 30 isn't going up. It's going sideways. So the only thing going up is the 15 at this point with the day, the week, and the month. So that's still enough evidence, right? But we're inside on the 30. We have to be aware of that. And the reason that matters is because this is a broadening formation here, right? So if it were to start coming back through, we don't want to have a giant stop like this because we're just going to get obliterated. We just want to keep it here. Keep it tight. Incoming. Yeah, so this is the problem with mother bar. You're just gonna get destroyed in here, right? Up, then down, then 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 up. It's like, kill me. What I always say is, like, you sit here and trade this, you're gonna throw your keyboard through the screen because you're gonna get 3, right? When this goes red here, in trouble, boom, you're gonna go 3. And this is because when price gets stuck inside of a previous range, aka mother bar or a higher time from inside bar, it will restart the price discovery broadening formation. Right? Given this knowledge, we can use this internal try to time the breakout of the range. So in this case, target, you can see the mother bar. These 2 weeks, these 2 weeks here, boom, you get like 4 months inside, right? Notice how the range tests the lows, it tests the highs, and then it tests the lows again, which breaks it out. Look at this monthly. If you're trading during this stuff, you're getting destroyed. And then 3, this allows us to time the range. 1, this is our actionable signal to time the range. And the signal breaks here. Where's it going? Down there. So you get broadening formation, actionable signal to time the broadening formation to this low, causing the breakout of that range. So we go to VST. This could work, right? And it did re-break, so you could try and do that. But you have to be aware, this signal, you're trying to time the breakout of way up here, all the way up here. So since we know how broadening formations occur, we know this would be the new low and this would be the new high. So this would create the broadening formation here. So you got to be aware of that. Because what if we go all the way up here and now we have that, and then we start coming back through, it's going to time the breakout of the bottom of this range instead of the top, which is what you prefer. So you just got to be aware of that. And when those broadening formations start kicking in, because at this point, we don't really have one yet. We see a lot of people talking about failed 2 down green hammer, but why isn't a 2 down red hammer not mentioned? Because people are just like simple. I don't know. The reason 2 down and green matters is because in order to have a 3, it has to do that first. So, like, remember this morning if you're here, or even right now, right? Here's your 2 down in green, and then we're doing what? We're pairing this signal with this seller, and we're doing that with event continuity in our favor. We're doing that with the weekly buyer, the monthly buyer, the daily buyer, the 60-minute buyer. Not yet, but potentially about to be in our favor, right? So we're timing that signal with everyone buying against this short seller that we trapped here on a 15-minute basis, right there. So the fact that this went green here tells us that's going to happen. It's telegraphing the fact it's going to happen. The only reason people are so zoomed in on that is because it works. just like everything else, but everything else is also more to learn, right? People like to just keep it simple, which is good. But if we go 2-9 in green, or actually we go compound outside. This is in the old one. Here it is. Yeah, go to the 2-2 reversal. Yeah. When it comes to 2-2 reversals, all they are compound threes, right? So see how this is a big outside bar, and this one is too? So the second that goes red, it's telegraphing the fact that that's about to happen. So people get really zoomed in on the fact they want a 2-down in green because we know the second it goes green here, where's it going? Up there. Because we actually know how to gauge where price is going to go and why in an fully objective manner. So that's why people look at 2-down in green. Now, if it's red, does that change anything? No, because when it breaks, it's going to be green. Because like, imagine this, right? What's the difference? What's the difference between this and this? Nothing. The only difference was this was slightly red, but when it breaks this, it's green. When it breaks this, it already was green here. So you could either say this one just had slightly more evidence prior to the break, which I would be okay with you saying, or you could say, hey, they're just the same because the continuity changed here just on the second bar instead of the first. And a lot of people will mark this level out here on SPY 69.313 if you want to use that level as a reduction spot. How to enter on a candle. Just go back and look when we said when price reclaims this low, buy it. That's how we do it. It looks like this. When you reclaim a level, you just buy it with a tight stop. Should go instantly. That is all. Use hotkeys. If you don't use hotkeys, you can lose a lot of money real fast. Lockheed Martin, nice inside 30 Lockheed Martin. Is that yesterday's highs? It is. 0.5%. You know, not too bad, not too bad. Now, are these short sellers really jammed is the question. If they are, we should just get going. Giddy up. Above 542.87 Lockheed Martin, those short sellers may have issues. VST still zero, zilch, nada, nothing. And you'll see how frustrating it can be to trade a mother bar in VST. My question is, how many other traders do you watch that have 3 10-cent entry stops into SPY today? How many? It can't be more than 2 or 1. India, the Nifty 50. Let us see. Right here. 2215 in. Off they go. Rocket ship. And you'll see the 2230 in there as well. Let's go to the daily. I know Nifty always has some nice broadening. Wait. This doesn't look right. Nifty 50. There we go. So the first thing you'll note is the broadening formation. And you might look at this and be like, Alex, there's no way. Well, look at 2 up in red. What does that tell you? It's going down there. 600 points nearly. Then the reversal, boom. Oh man, brother. Isn't that good? So again, 2 up in red, signaling the 2-2 reversal with a trigger and a magnitude. When that occurs at the top of this gigantic range, not only is this a 2-2 on a daily, right? But when did this happen? On a Monday. When things happen matters. Because look at the weekly. 3. Is that a broadening formation? Yes. The second it goes red here, where is it going? down there. That is a 455 point magnitude. In order for that to happen, the day reversed here below this 2621165. And then it continued, down they go. And if you're going to trade short throughout that whole range, the way you do it is you look for green bars and then you trade against them because they're losing traders. So you have this green bar here, 2 up in red, boom, 2-2 reversal, down they go. This slightly green bar here, you get the 3, down they go. And you see they pop up and then down they go. So you can see it pop it up, sell it, pop it up, sell it, pop it up, sell it. And eventually you hit this one where it just goes. Not every single one's going to go like this. But when you time it right, that will happen. Now, at the bottom of this range right here, 2 down in green, buy it. Because everyone's short. So at the very least, we might stop out these guys nearby. But what it could do is go new high, new low, and then start coming back up into this. At least, maybe into the middle of here. Then we'll have to see what the next signal is. This is Nifty 50. Yep. SPY. We had multiple entries today, but this was the most recent one. We said the 15er with a nice tight stop right there. Boom, there's your target hit. Risking, 7 to 10 cents, which it would realistically be like 3 or 4 cents if you're doing this properly, but to make $1.35, there it is. And we don't do this risk reward crap. I'm just trying to show you this is how it works. In reality, risk reward is a 100% made up concept, just designed to sell you stuff. It doesn't work. So we don't need to do that. ASTS from our vid. Let's see. Boom, ASTS. If you remember in the morning, corrective activity, the inside bar. If we break above 93.99, the monthly buyer's taking offer. The weekly buyer's taking offer. The daily buyer's taking offer. The 60 buyer, 2-2. Boom, they're taking offer. Now inside 60 to add. Now that ASTS is moving a bit, maybe this 60 sets up to add for us as well. We can play for it. Let's see. Uber, the outside day. So you can see it went 3 up, and it is a actionable signal because it shows us broadening information. We go to the 60-minute. In order to time that broadening information, it was just 2 down, 60-minute in the morning, down they went. So no signal on the 60. We're on a 4-hour. Shooter 3, 2 up. Shooter actionable signal paired with broadening information. Where's it going? Right there. 2 up, 2 down reversal. Goes 13 cents below the target, giving you a move of $2 with a $0 drawdown. Let's see. Kyle, can you take a look at Tesla? Yeah, right there. Rev Strat Tesla. Get. Go boom, boom, boom. And your question was, can you enter it with a lower time frame? Yep. Right here. We call this the 222. It's called the shotgun because it goes and I don't know if you're gonna be able to hear that. Yeah, you can. Okay, cool. Right here, boom. There's your shotgun. And then the momentum, boom, to the highs. And then 322, fun to say, fun to do. 3, 2, 2, boom, high day. That's on a 5-minute. If we go to a 15, here's your shotgun on the 15. Right there. Boom, above 436. Up they go 444. Let's see. Tesla, the low of the 5-minute. It depends on the signal. This is a 222 momentum, so your stop is the spread plus 1 penny because momentum should instantly go. Therefore, I don't know what the spread on Tesla is today. It looks like 2 cents. So your stop would be about 3 to 5, maybe 10 cents at the most. Look like this. And you're in. And you might be, Alex, I may get stopped out. Well, this one didn't. Up they go. Go to a 15-second. Our entries, at worst, you can see it would have suffered, let's see, 20 cents of drawdown. So what, you buy it, get stopped out, you buy it again, and it never comes back. You risked 16 pennies. No one else does that. That's pretty good. Is this dictionary for premium members? Sadly, I don't have it hosted anywhere. I would love to host it. If you guys are interested in that, I can put it together. However, we have a lot of different things that are coming up for me right now, so I'm not going to be able to do it anytime super soon. Maybe in like the next month or so. How can you get access to it? Yeah, right now I have no way for you to get access to it. If you took our boot camp, historically, we had a few, like I think it was 2 boot camps. You did have access to it until that link expired, and we mentioned and tagged everyone millions of times. We're like, download it. If you're going to download it, download it. But if you were not a part of any of those groups, then you're just going to have to hold off for now and wait. I traded at SPY options today. Also, I have a few positions from yesterday I'm holding on. Specifically, Lockheed Martin. What I really want to see is like the third 60 of the day on VST break this. Right here. This would be textbook. If we could break 172.20 on VST. Because they sold, and the market's still not going down on VST. So eventually, they're done selling. If that happens, all these guys short, all of these guys are jammed, really jammed. ASTS, the momentum hammer setting up. You got 5 minutes here. And if you want an example of how we look for actionable setups on a day like today, we go like this. Look at the 60s. Are those inside? Yes. And we're going to refresh just to make sure we got the right information here. Sometimes it lags. Boom. How many 60s are inside right now? That's a lot, right? So what is the market about to do? It's called a simultaneous break, where algorithmic trading either confirms or negates current market direction. We got 288 inside bars. So we look across the board. You know, most things are still going up. So we're either going to go a lot of inside bars breaking up or not. Now, the curious thing is that the stats are slightly different. Oh, it's because I was looking at it. There it is. Oops. Yeah, 676 inside 60s, right? So you can see the SPY sideways. Qs, there was still some accumulation during that period, but a lot of things are sideways. So we got almost 1,000 inside bars. What that tells us is equilibrium, because the inside bar is a specific condition that tells us about very important parts of the market. Once the inside bar is closed, it is identified as equilibrium. A 1 cannot be called a 1 until it's closed. And equilibrium tells us that both buyers and sellers agree on prices. And we are, by definition, in a period of consolidation. That's the inside bar. And it also shows you, right, since they agree on prices, there is no aggressive buyer or seller in 667 of these names. So the question becomes, when those equilibrium break, we identify a new buyer or seller entering that market, or the same buyer or seller coming back for more. So if we go and look at those names, we can go and look, you know, at this point it's sorted high to low, but Goldman Sachs, Cat, MasterCard, Spotify, John Deere, MongoDB. If we keep going, United Health Group, Adobe, Marriott, I believe, FedEx, Royal Caribbean, IBM. Do you see how these are really big names that like you've probably heard of before? We call this a potential simultaneous break. And the simultaneous break is this. Simultaneous break is when we have multiple correlated assets breaking a scenario 2, which is a directional bar, in the same direction at the same time. We can identify this by index, by sector, and we could also add and by holdings, right? When this occurs, it tells us of algorithmic trading activity. This means this is the most definitive buy or sell signal we can have in our arsenal of trading weapons. Given the power of these signals, we look for it across the 4 major timeframes, the 60-day, week, and month. So right now we have a 60-minute simultaneous break closing out in about 3 minutes here. The question then becomes, you know, who has full time frame continuity up and down? So if we go to the strongest names today, ASTS, right? SKYT, BE, RKT. These would be some of your stronger names on the day. So we can take a look at those. ASTS is momentum. RKT, right? Momentum, or it'd be reversal to the downside. BE, be momentum or reversal down. And most of these, we're going to note, have monthly breaks. So 3 to 2 month BE, where's that going? 147.87, 1 penny above that is where it's trying to go. So today it's 2 up, and the 60 is a 1. So this would confirm that if it continues higher. Now, since we know rev strats can occur, we have to be aware of that. But if all of those break 1 and then go 2 to the upside, that's something we'd want to know about, right? So we will see MET-C, basic materials. So you see more momentum, right? 2, 1, and then maybe a 2. It looks like it's probably going to become a 2 already. Notice the month. Where's this going? MET-C. Well, it's trying to go up there, which would be 57% in 1 month. That'd be kind of nuts. But WMG, PHM. So if we look at home builders, PHM, inside bar momentum. DHI, inside bar. KBH, not so much. TOL in the home builders, pretty strong. No, it's called Still Good. So SPY, you can see after the morning highs again, which was our magnitude, you can see we marked out for you guys here. Goes up, and then again, inside fiver times the top of the range. Down they go. So copy paste always. This is all the market ever does. Goes up, inside 5, and then brings it back in. Now, the mother bar reclaim right here on the 5-minute, right there. So if we wanted to, and we're really trying to be aggressive here, this is your tight stop. Try and get it to go outside bar like this. And if you're late, but that'd be the idea. We'll have to see. We get the new 60s right now. So the new 60 opens. If it's green, it's trying to go momentum 60 up SPY. Right? It still has the daily target. Qs would be similar. Dow is similar. IWM is inside 60. Now, if we go and take a look, we can look at anything 1, 2 up. We can look at the previous ones. So you're going to see right now that software hasn't updated yet. Sometimes it has like a 30-second lag or so, which is okay. ASTS. So this is important. Still inside bar, so nothing. And if you were long from the morning, that'd be your signal to either reduce or just stay in and say, hey, that's still good. This is just profit taking. You're trying to give them to SPY with the rep strat 15, same with the Qs. Still nothing though. You can see right now, so to start off, energies are the strongest with the most 2s to the upside on the 60. And if we look at 1, 2 up, you see 4, ASTX, Love, XPEV, kind of just meh. We want to see the whole market breaking. You could be watching XPEV if you're a little smaller account guy, but it's really red on the day, so it's going to be difficult. It is from exhaustion risk, but it's going to be hard to change that to green. VST, still sellers in here. No buyers, 0. Lockheed Martin on the new 60, inside 15 down. So if you're a long guy in Lockheed Martin, that's your signal that, hey, they might triangle out down into here. Should take you out. You see SPY 15ers re-break to the downside. So mother bar reclaim, not true anymore, unless they can reclaim it again. They're inside 15-minute down, still inside 30, still inside 60-minute. So at this point, inside 30, 60, it's more likely to fail and go back the other way than it is to fully come back through the morning range. Does not mean it can't. It's just more likely to go back to the upside because of continuity and because it's still inside on those bigger time frames. We are less likely to sustain a breakout to the downside on the 15. Silver still gunning to the highs. Man, I feel so bad for our banks. They're just so dumb. You're gonna get screwed up by silver. So you can see at this point, like we were talking about before, with timing the mother bar break, VST, outside bar, there's your triangle, inside bar, trying to time this to low a day. But you can see they hit, but did that break the mother bar? It did not. So it might come all the way back through and try and test the highs of this now. SPY still inside 15-minute down. So they are still break down, right? It's not bullish at all. But they're still inside 30. So if this break is going to change anything, it'd have to take out all the way down here at 69190. So is that likely? Maybe, maybe not. We don't have enough evidence to say that it should happen. All we can say is it's inside down right now. Bank screwed up by silver? Yeah. Why are people saying that the banks are really in trouble due to rising silver and gold prices? Okay, so the long story short, as we've been discussing the past 5 years in our Discord, they have been printing US dollars as much as possible. Precious metals are the historical, going back thousands of years, precious metals are the historical way for the populace of a country that lives under a certain government or monetary regime, whatever you want to call it. That's how they understand if inflation is going rampant with their money. So if you print a lot of money, silver has to go up because it's priced in that money. What the banks did, and you can see where they did it and where they have been doing it, the banks, while all this money is being printed, right? So just think 2020 when we printed all that money, silver went from 15 to 25. We printed like half the money supply. So during this whole time, the banks, what they're doing is they're shorting silver and gold with billions and billions of dollars. And they're shorting it with the paper. So they don't actually they're not borrowing the silver from someone and then selling it. They're just selling paper. So they're not actually shorting anything, really. It's just paper, accounting. So China comes in, and we identified the gold inside your actionable signal, which shows us equilibrium. And in 2024, it breaks. China starts buying gold with yuan. And they're actually right now, China is printing money to buy gold and silver. So China starts buying gold and silver. This causes a short squeeze, first in gold, and then silver kicks in here in 2025. Boom. Now the banks, if they are short within any of this range here, which they are, is you can't be short at 60 or 70 bucks if it was trading at 32 and you shorted. So they're short in this previous range. If we stay above that, they're screwed. But the bigger problem is this. China understands this, and they want to take us down as a country, right? And all the liberals, and if you're mad at me for saying this, I don't care. Screw off. All the liberals, all the people with their head up their ass, they have no idea, zero clue that they are trying to take down our whole entire country because they don't want us controlling the money. They want to take over the world. That's their whole, 1,000 million billion year plan. They just want to rule the world, just like every other, whatever you want to call it, very totalitarian type government. They want to rule the world. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to drive these prices up and make our banks go bust. And that kind of also forces us in the position that we have to do something. We have to either get a lot of silver or we have to print a lot of dollars and try and fix the situation, which is what we've been doing since, the 70 or since we got off the gold standard and whatnot. We've just been printing a lot of money and trying to manipulate the prices of all these assets so we don't go bust. So at this point, we're in a very precarious spot the fact that we got Venezuela and we have all that oil, that's a good thing because we can start printing more money and then keep energy prices lower. So, United States citizens don't freak out when we print, 3 times the money supply again. And prices go haywire, but at least gas is still cheap and transportation's cheap and blah, blah, blah. Food stays a little cheaper. So that's kind of the play, is they're going to try and pump as much oil as possible. Also, taking Venezuela's silver and whatnot, that's also a possibility. And they're going to try and keep this thing under control. But it is a very, very curious situation because we know as a broadening formation expands, it continues to broaden with time. So if silver is above this, $71, anytime that's true, although this is the paper value, an actual spot silver, I don't know if we can see silver spot. We get an actual silver spot. This is still 80, so it's actually not showing you much on the paper. But in the actual silver markets, it's like $120. So as paper silver potentially goes higher to try and match that, even though it's unlikely to fully match it. As that happens, the balance sheets for the banks that are in shorts on silver at 32, at 20, 24, whatever, their sheets look a lot worse and they're going upside down. So the higher this goes, the worse it is. And the only way they're getting out of this is with physical silver to cover the short, but there isn't enough. So, it's a very curious situation. And it's interesting the dollar's, starting the year off green, firming up. But look at last year's dollar, right? This is a 3. Now, when we look at that, you can say, yeah, Alex, here's our 3. We're going to try and time the mother bar to take this out. Maybe, if they can figure this situation out, maybe you get this deflationary type of thing. But what I think is going to happen is I think we're going to see this. I think we're going to see something like this, and then maybe it gets a lot worse, right? And that would have a lot of effects on gold and silver and all these other markets and whatnot. Now, as far as, it's a lot of stuff that people have said on Twitter about this and, things I've read myself. As far as the market's concerned, if we go to financials, XLF, they don't seem to be pricing this in at all, right? It's like, if we go to any of the banks, which we might be able to find out. Let's see. Let's search it over here. So does half the country. They want to take us down too. Yeah, it's crazy. Silver is also heavily used in solar panels and electric cars. Yeah, that's true. Really, the bigger problem is just that the banks are shorted. So let's see. I guess to end it off, though, I would say, I wouldn't be terrified or anything. But as far as being a trader is concerned, if there is a lot of short positions on silver, good, because that means we should be buying it, right? The trickier part is that you should have been buying it 2 years ago, and we were talking about it 2 years ago, right? Or a year ago. We've been talking about buying precious metals and gold, since I put my account up on Twitter pretty much. So, if you missed it, you missed it. That's okay. But my personal the next one I think we're going to see where we get at least a 4x, a 3-4x type of move is Ripple. So if you're looking at Ripple, this is the idea on Ripple. So I'm going to be buying between $60,000 to $100,000 worth of Ripple in this range. And I'm hoping to see this thing just blow out the highs and never come back. At least that's part of my thesis. I'll have a video out on that in the near future, but that's where I sit right now. I wouldn't be terrified, but I would, as a trader, it's very interesting. We're definitely gonna be watching that silver and gold and see what happens. Right? VST, look at this. Inside 60, boom, they're still hitting the lows. So similar to kind of like Lockheed Martin and stuff yesterday. These shorts, they're short, and somehow they're still shorting more, right? They're not scared to sell more at the highs. So the broadening formation looks like this. They're trying to go all the way back through here. Now, is that likely? Maybe. I would prefer to see this go hammer on the 60-minute and then just break and take off. That's what I want to see. Be a much more fun, much better trade. You can see SPY, they did end up going 225 minute like this. 225 to the upside. Still inside 3060, so it's kind of a mess. You could make the case we've been short silver and gold ever since leaving the standard. I guess, yeah, true. Just because we have like a debt-based economy versus, a different type. Now, this is what I want to say though. Another thing outside of XRP that I'm really interested in is OIH in here just because of the rev strat 1, 2, 2 year. We really like that this year. And I'm going to be quoting this. So we're going to come back to this in 2027. I'm going to be like, hey, remember we talked about this OIH? It's only $8 above its yearly signal. We'll come back to it. So long as it stays above that. Right? As long as it stays up there, we're coming back to this end of the year. It's going to be up pretty big. At the very least, it's probably going to be up 20%. If not, it could be more than that. But I think energies overall, XLE, XOP, OIH, seem like a no-brainer bet. Because in order for us to expand our AI stuff, which we're trying to do, we have to get more energy. And in order for us to get more energy, unless we build 1 million nuclear reactors, we're going to have to get more energy out of the ground. Right? That's how we've done it forever. And even if we get nuclear reactors, we're still going to want to have that energy out of the ground in case, whatever happens, or just for other applications, right? Because not everyone's going to have an electric car in 1 year. It's going to take a while for that to happen. And even then, right? It takes a long time to switch. Like if we switch the whole country to nuclear, how long would that take? Let's just get a rough estimate. We switched all of the USA to 100% nuclear. How long would that take? decades, right? And then how do you think they would, like, if let's say we had to build 1,000 nuclear plants by, like 10 years from now, how are they going to do it? Very big cars that take a lot of diesel, a lot of diesel. How do you think they're going to mine all the concrete and all the crap they have to? Very, very big trucks that take even more diesel. Where does diesel come from? Energy, right? Out of the ground. So if that's all true, this is the most no-brainer bet ever, right? XOP, OIH, all that stuff, XLE. And then since uranium companies, they don't make any money yet, uranium, anytime URA is above this, 42, it's going to 134, right? 230. 230%, $91 a share from this reclaim level, which we discussed last year many times on Twitter and YouTube and the nightly videos, the weekend videos, all that fun stuff. But you got a long time for this to play out. So what I would do, like if I was building a portfolio right now, for a more speculative bet, I'd be going for things like XRP. And then for a safer, more like macroeconomic type bet, I would be looking at URA with a bigger position in URA, just, if you want further upside. And then the rest, OIH to start off, and then XOP, XLE. That would be like all speculative or macro stuff in the energy, and then speculative in XRP. And if you want exposure to certain technology stocks or AI stocks or whatever it is, you can do that too. I just think everyone's looking at tech and AI and they're not looking at energy, when energy seems like the no-brainer bet. It's like, if we're gonna have more AI, we need more energy. If we need more energy, we got to get more energy. Like that's like the end all be all. You just have less leverage, right? If you're playing straight off the energy play versus the productivity increase from things like AI. Wrong idea and more wrong of time of day. Let's see. MicroStrategy, the inside 60 reversal. SPX, boom, there you go. You see it? Right here, the 225er, like we said, up they go. Do you see the mother bar reclaim? 1, 2 bars stuck inside. Right here, down, reclaim, all the way up they go. And then here it is, SPY, daily magnitude, right there. There you go, 693.97. That's what we said earlier in the day, 693.97, 1 penny above this. Then we're gonna end off the stream right when they take them out. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the live stream today. You saw how the 2 down in green caused the 2-2 reversal, caused anyone that was short Wednesday to get out for a loss, as all known participants bought and took the offer. Now that we've put you in winning positions, you can do what you want. Winning traders are never forced to do anything, because if you bought it at 10 and it's at 100, you don't have to get out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. There it is, 1 penny above our magnitude. Have a great rest of your day, everyone, and an even better weekend. We'll see you guys next week and in the weekend vid, where we're going to discuss the yearly macro setups. So don't miss it. We're going to do further discussion over the weekend on Saturday for the masterclass. So if you have not heard of the masterclass yet, it's something that we're running. It's a yearly promotion we're doing, so it's a little bit pricier, but you get a lot out of it. So if you're interested in that, I will drop it in the description on this video, and I'm going to be posting it on Twitter again soon. So adios, guys. Have a great rest of your day, and I hope you made some money, and have a good one.